Why, hello everybody. Welcome to week 4 here in Quartz. For this week, we've just got a couple things on tap, but one of them is rather important because it is our first exam. So for this week, before you take the exam, you'll have to complete Chapter 4. You'll need to watch the video, read the chapter in your book, and then take that all-important quiz, making it at least a 70 on it. While you're watching the video and when you're reading the book, go ahead and start working on your exam review. That portion of your discussion number 4 must also be completed prior to taking exam number 1. Speaking of discussions, the 90% of the students have done a great job, done everything they were supposed to. Some have missed 1 or 2 points. Look at your discussion scores, and if you're not getting 100%, read the rubric. It tells you what you didn't do. A few people made comments on blank post. You can't do that. You can't compare your answer to a blank answer because there's nothing to compare. I mean, you've got to have a comparison of the two. So make sure that it's not a blank post. You're not going to get credit for that. And then I had 2 different students that actually just posted the only thing they posted was what they found most interesting about the chapter. That is the least important part of the original post. In fact, it's worth 10 points. The exam review is worth 60 points. But it doesn't matter if you don't post your exam review, your post is deleted. You can't do that. That actually is something people were doing to try to cheat, and that's not going to be allowed. So if you're one of the 2 students that posted that, you need to go back and redo post discussion number 1 and 2 with the actual discussion post. If you continue to do so, you'll be thrown out of the class. I mean, that's just, it's kind of looking for cheating. I'm assuming that you just didn't quite understand. I'm not sure how you could not understand since everybody else did. But make sure you get them done because you can't take the exam until you've got all the post for chapters 1 through 4, at least the originals completed. Now, I would highly suggest that you do as many follow-ups posts as possible to chapter 4 before you take the first exam, because that will help you on the exam. You can incorporate everybody else's exam review answers that are different than yours into your answers, because you can use yours only, but you can modify your notes to include anything else that you've come up with by participating in the discussion. I would highly suggest that you take chapters 1 through 4 and combine them into a single document, calling it Exam 1 Review. That way, when you open up your document for the exam, everything's in one post, and you don't have to, think, is this chapter 1? Is this chapter 2? Is this, So you can just search for things, and in that single document. When you do take the exam, it needs to be taken with HonorLock. So be sure you get HonorLock running. You will have to have your microphone and camera. The exam will include, an assortment of questions, just similar to those that you've taken in the quiz. And it will include about 10 questions that come directly from the quizzes. There will be 50 questions on the exam. You'll have 50 minutes. That's a minute per question. That is plenty time. The average time to take the exam is under 30 minutes. So most people have at least 20 minutes left. When people get in trouble is when they start looking answers up, starting with the very first question, and they'll spend 2 or 3 minutes on the first 5 questions, and then suddenly they're rushing to get through the exam. The best way to do this is to take the exam and give it your best answer, every question. But if you're not sure if that's the right one, have your notepad out and write on there, question 5, 7, 9. And then when you complete the exam, go back to, question 5. Let me look and try to find that answer in your notes or in the textbook. When you look for question 7, look for question 9, and then submit the exam once you've checked all the answers that you weren't sure of. I would also suggest that prior to starting the exam that you open up your Word document with your exam review, and that if you've got a digital copy of the textbook, you open that up. So you don't want to spend any of that 50 minutes opening the documents trying to find them. Have them open before it, and then that way you just flip over to that tab if it's opened in a tab, or the other screen if you move to Word. So please study for the exam before the exam. If some people think, oh, it's an open book exam, this is easy, I just have to have good notes. No, you have to know it. 50 minutes is, a minute per question is a lot of time if you know the material. If you're trying to look up 50 answers, that's not going to work. You can probably look up maybe 5-6 answers during the test at the most. So study, kind of know the material, know the exam review, and I think y'all will do well. Well, good luck on the exam, and I will talk to you again next week.